All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us. I have with me today Coach Korba, and we met recently at a conference and we connected, and we both have such a passion for moms and working moms and helping moms figure it out and be successful in whatever it is that they want to do in life and in work. So I thought I would let Coach Korba introduce herself and tell you a little bit more about herself and her journey.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored to be here. I love working with working moms. And so I'll tell you a little bit about me. My name is Doreen Korba. Coach Korba was just like a little bit more fun on my Instagram and for a business. But Doreen Korba, I spent 15 years in marketing, running global marketing as the vice president, and it was a really, really big job, and I am very driven and grew a lot in my career in a short period of time. But then I started to have babies, and I realized that I was missing out. And every day, literally every day, I would say to some of my coworkers, like, there has to be another way. Like,
Yeah.
there has to be another way. And while I'm really good at what I do, it's not good back to me anymore. My priorities in life have changed.
Mhm.
And so we had a family tragedy. Our second child passed away at birth.
Mhm.
And when that happened, it was really an opportunity for me to reevaluate my life and where I wanted to spend my time and what I wanted that to look like. And so I left corporate America and I did marketing consulting on my own. And what I had said when you and I met is I wish I would have known about your platform when I so desperately needed an out. And I'm so passionate about what you're doing. This community is, I'm sure, so grateful for what you do. So thank you for doing what you do.
Yes.
And that's why I connect so deeply with you, is because I was in that same situation where I had a lot of great skills, but I wanted to be present with my family. And so while I was in marketing, kind of always knew that wasn't my end game. And I got a master's degree in counseling psychology, although I didn't want to be a therapist. I wanted to help people move forward and help people get to where they want to go. So after I did some marketing consulting, I realized, nope, still totally unfulfilled, even though I'm my own boss. And went on to have two more babies. So now I have a 2 and a 1-year-old. And there was no better time to go all in on what I wanted to do, which was serve women through transition in their careers and building businesses. That is really what sets my soul on fire.
And I love that you didn't settle for the marketing, even though it was, a great job and it was remote, it still didn't fulfill you. Like, you continued to seek out what fulfills you, because I tell people all the time, I feel so blessed to do what I do because I don't consider it a job. Like, I look forward to it's such a passion in my heart to help moms figure out a way to work from home, and also to help small businesses hire these awesome moms. Like, it excites me still to this day. So when you can find something that you love, it doesn't feel like work, and that's so important.
It's so true. I mean, my soul, and I mean, it just lights up. When someone tells me they have a business idea and they're a mom, I'm like, ooh, like, let's get into it, right?
Yeah.
Or if someone says to me, like, everything from the outside looks great, but I'm not feeling good about the situation. Like, that is what I love.
Yeah. And that's where you can help.
Yes.
Okay, so give us some of your tips for working from home. What do you suggest? What works well for moms to do all the things that they need to do?
Okay, so moms, as you all know, are the nucleus of the family. Okay. No pressure, but we are what makes the world go round inside of our family. And so it is super duper important to have really strict boundaries for working from home. So I work from home now. Yes, I do all of my coaching sessions over Zoom, but I worked for home in corporate America for 6 years, which is pretty unheard of for a global vice president of marketing. But I'm really good at not negotiating. Like, I'm really good at this, but I need this in return. And so really having strict boundaries for yourself. And so what this looks like is time blocking. It sounds simple, but you literally time block your calendar when you're going to be working and when you're going to be doing laundry. Do not try to do both. When I sit with women and I hear that they're trying to work while also trying to watch their children, if you've ever tried to do that, it's impossible to do anything well.
Right.
And it's really stressful for you as a mom because you feel like you're not giving your all to anything. So my big thing for time management and working from home is just time block your schedule and stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
Do the hard things first, the things that you don't want to do, get them out of the way, and then do the fun things after that as a reward to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
isn't that called Eat the Frog? I think that might be a book.
Oh, really?
I think it's called somebody, I haven't read it, but I heard someone talk about Eat the Frog, and I'm like, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Do the hard things first, because once you knock that out, you have such a sense of accomplishment that you can blaze through the easy things. But if you start with the easy things, you're kind of like dreading the hard things. So eat the frog.
And it's so true. I love that analogy, eat the frog, because what happens is if we put the hard things off, we're thinking about them all day.
Yeah.
So not only are we not doing what we need to do, but we're also wasting all of that emotional, mental energy that we could reallocate somewhere else. Yeah. And so doing the hard things first is always the way to go.
And that's when you really have the most energy and your brain's the freshest, right? Earlier in the day, because, at least for me.
Me too.
When I want to focus, like if I need to write or create content or do something that requires me to focus, if I wait till the afternoon to do that, I'm not going to do it. Or I'm just going to get busy or something else is going to come up. But if I, like you said, time block, and I put on my calendar from 9 to 11, and I don't allow, turn the phone off, and I really focus, I get things done and I feel so good about it. Like, yes, I got that. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Working from home is super tricky. It is. And so it's a matter of finding the balance, but not feeling like because you're home, you should also be doing the dishes and doing the laundry. And because I have 3 small kids, like it's everywhere. But making sure your workspace is another tip I have, is just having a workspace. It doesn't have to be some big fancy office, but have a space where it is your workspace and it is neat and tidy, and go in and shut the door. And then when you're ready, when your time blocks are over, go back to your home life. That's another big strategic tip that I have that really helps the mind separate work from home life.
Yes, I agree 100%. It's been so helpful to me too. Okay, so how do you, when you're busy, how do you work not work too much, work more than you need to on things?
So I thought that this could be something really interesting for us to talk about, because I think most of the moms that are going to be listening to this are going from working full-time 60-hour weeks and transitioning to part-time roles, or roles that are going to require them to be really strict about their time. And that is hard. It is hard because you want to give your all. You want to do a great job. You're grateful for the opportunity that's allowing you to work from home and be present with your family. But it really is important that you work the hours that you say you're going to work. I don't think that anyone in this group would ever have trouble trying to work enough hours, right? It's always that they want to work more, because it is a complete mindset and brain shift. And so what I really want you to realize is, and it is mental talk, it's tracking your thoughts around this, and realizing that when you took this opportunity, it was because it was 20 hours a week, or it was 10, or it was 30. Not because you wanted to get back to where you used to be and then also have all the home responsibility as well. Mm-hmm. So always going back to your why. I'm really big on your why. And if you haven't explored your why before, I always say your why should make you cry. It really needs to be deep rooted, and checking back in that filter and making sure that you've set the boundaries and those are in place and you're doing a great job, but you're not overworking.
Right.
The thing is, if you overwork, then why would anyone hire you for more hours? Right? And so from your perspective is, if you wanted to build up with a company to full-time work what you agreed to. And then if it doesn't all get done, then that's a conversation for more hours if that's what you want.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I was just talking about this last night on a podcast that I was doing, that, balance is one of those words that we always strive for, but it's so hard to really have things in balance, at least from my point of view. Because I was saying, there are times when I feel like I'm chugging along and doing great with my business, but I'm like, I haven't spent enough time with my husband. Like we haven't had a date night in a month. Or
Yeah.
I'm seeing a behavior in my preteen that I'm like, ooh, I need to really I've been listening to a few parenting podcasts over this week about having a teachable heart and a teachable spirit. And where do I need to grow and cultivate that in myself?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that I think as women, we kind of have to keep our mind open to where are we doing great and where do we need to do better, because I think in different seasons of life and different seasons of our businesses, things shift. And there are times when you need to focus on one area more than the other. So I think it's just been
so true. Yes, that resonates so deeply with me. And I feel like that is where mom guilt comes from.
Yes.
Is thinking that we need to have balance and it's always like this. Guys, it is never like this. It is always teetering, right? Yeah. And so I word balance from my vocabulary with my clients and just in life, because as a working mother, 3 small children, a booming business, balance is not the right word. I look for really kind of the markers, and they're different for everyone, but for me the markers are, am I close with my children? Do I have an exceptional relationship with them? Is my business thriving? Am I giving my clients everything that I can? And then going back and forth. So just like you, there are some weeks that we have stuff at home that really needs a lot of attention, and we have some weeks where it needs to be all business, and my husband has to really step in and do some additional things. So
yeah, and
mom guilt is really tricky.
It is. But on the flip side, the positive, isn't it such a beautiful thing to have the freedom and flexibility to adjust our schedules, and say
it's the dream.
It is, because you and I were at that conference recently, and what was that, 3.5 days away from our family and away from all of our duties. But we had the flexibility to do that because we have that freedom and flexibility that we aren't set and bound by a certain job, and schedule in that way. And it's just one of those things. Okay, honey, I need your help this week because I've got this going on. Yep. But let's make sure that we prioritize a time for us, this coming weekend, or have, a date night or something like that.
It's so true. That it's so true. And the idea at this point in my life of having someone else, corporate America, whatever, dictate my time full time, oh my gosh, not an option for me anymore. Right? And that's why I love your community so much, is because you're giving an option, a different opportunity to women to still, I think it's so important, those of us that have skills and love what we do, to do that. But also be able to be present, like if you have a sick kiddo, not to feel guilty for having to go pick them up from school, or just wanting to be, really present.
Exactly. Because, my children are all older now. They're from age, my youngest is 12, my oldest is 4. So yeah. I just have the 12-year-old at home. So it's a new season for me, because she obviously takes care of all of her, little things that I don't have to do anymore. And she's in school from basically 8:30 to 4. I have a much bigger window to work than when I had littles at home. And I was balancing between Mother's Day out, the church preschool, and a part-time nanny, and working a crazier schedule and less hours. And so back then, my focus was on my babies. I had my first website, Home-Based Working Moms, and then I started hiring my mom when my 12-year-old was an infant. So she's 12, my business is 12, and I did not sacrifice that time. I just grew it slowly because, we all have goals, and my goals was not to, be some huge household name at the time. My goal was to be present and for my family and my kids, and grow it slowly. And now as they've gotten older, then I can focus more on it. And that feels right for me.
It feels right for every single woman I sit with. It's interesting. The women that come into my life are mission-based, right? So they feel like they have something to give in their hearts. And so they want to give that, but they also have a huge love for family. And that's my priority too. And, when we were at that conference and they said, be really clear about your priorities, if business is not your priority, just know that, right? Or if parenthood is not your priority, just know that, and that you can't have two in the number one spot for priorities. You can't say husband and kids, boom.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, I have to choose, right? It's really important to think through as working mothers, what are the priorities, so that the guilt comes in is when we think everything's number one.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everything can't be number one, because then that wouldn't, a priority list doesn't exist if everything's number one. So
right.
Understanding if family's the priority and then work comes second, or husband's first, or your first, however it looks for you, it's just being really clear and letting the other things go.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which is hard, but
knowing that you're constantly evolving and constantly growing, constantly learning, and to give yourself grace. I'm a big believer in giving yourself grace and not being so hard on yourself.
Absolutely.
We all have some kind of mom guilt. I mean, I was just apologizing to my 12-year-old this morning. I was like, I don't think I've done a good job in helping you have a teachable heart. I'm going to own that. I feel bad about that. But here's what I want to do to correct that, and just having that humility and giving yourself grace. There are other areas that I do great in. There are some areas I don't do great in, and none of us do everything great all the time. So
right. It's beautiful to be able to model that for your children,
mm-hmm.
and to be able to model, because I do that too. Like, I'll be like, okay, Mom, I think Mommy was a little grouchy last night. I was just really tired. I didn't sleep the night before. And I just want you to know I'm really sorry. And that's not your fault. Like, modeling what it looks like. It's okay to be grouchy. It's okay to be overtired. It's okay to be stressed, but modeling what that looks like when you own it.
Yes.
And you say, like, geez, this is a tough week for Mommy. Like, Mommy's human too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You're so right. Modeling that. And when we apologize, at least when I've apologized to my kids, it shows them, wow, Mommy's going to apologize to me. I should do that to other people, because it's so hard. Our pride doesn't like to apologize. So when we do, I think it really stands out to our kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. My one little funny thing is my 7-year-old now knows that he needs to apologize quickly. He's like, I'm sorry, Mommy. I'm sorry, Mommy. No, sometimes I'm sorry doesn't cut it. You need to listen. First time. Don't say I'm sorry anymore. So there's such a balance. But yeah, motherhood is a trip, and every child needs something different.
Yes.
And every child changes the dynamic in such a beautiful way. And being able to navigate motherhood and being able to live your purpose is it's the ultimate dream for me. So I'm just super honored to be here, to be able to share my passion and help in any way.
So I think if I were sitting on the other side of the screen, I would love to know, what does it look like? You're a business and life coach. So tell me what that looks like, and what do you do with clients? How do you help them?
So I have a very unique way of working with clients, and here's the reason. I call it, it's like a triple threat. Okay, so I've got 15 years of marketing experience. I specifically worked with startups, so I have always loved to build businesses, always, since I was a little girl. So I would build them, get them to a good point, get bored, move to a different startup, build them, get them to a good point. So that's what I love to do. But then I have my master's in counseling. So I'm a trained therapist. So psychology is, again, since I was a little girl, what drives me. Sitting here and doing coaching is always what I've wanted to do with my life. And then with our loss, I have a deep understanding of actually going through the hardest time in life, right? And knowing what it takes, and also being able to meet someone where they are. So sometimes I will sit with folks and they won't understand the difference between a coach and a therapist. And so any session I ever have with someone, I don't leave them hanging. Sometimes it's therapy that's needed, and sometimes it's coaching that's needed. And so how it works is, coaching is for both life and business. It starts out by getting a baseline of where you are in your life and what you want to work on. So I think about things in 6-month increments and what the goals are for the next 6 months.
Okay.
And we do a series of exercises where I get to know you very quickly and you get to know me. And I also outlined through a mind mapping process all of the areas in your life. And together we devise a plan. So the first few sessions are standard, and then everything else is customizable. Okay. And that's my responsibility, to meet everyone where they are. And so sessions are done over Zoom. They're 50 minutes. They're in 3-month, 6-month, or 1-year increments. Most of my clients join for 6 months, especially if you want to do life and business coaching. Like if you have a dream in your heart and you want to launch a business, the 1-year plan is for you, right? If you have just one area of your life that really needs a lot of love and attention, it may be more the emotional side, then the 3-month is for you. The 6-month is really is what most of my clients end up signing and doing, which is they have a business or a career that is up and running, and we work on the areas, maybe it's stuck or maybe they're completely overwhelmed. Most of the people that come to me are feeling hopeless, overwhelmed, stuck. They don't know what to do. They don't know, they know they're not happy, but they don't know why. Or they may even have troubles with their families or marriages or all kinds of psychology that we need to work through. And what's interesting is if you're in business, it is our limiting beliefs that stunt our business growth. So that business growth, it really is dependent on you getting what you need, getting the fuel. And so we really work on fuelers and drainers. And so it is a comprehensive approach. And it's something that I've developed myself, I'm really proud of. And so, but I will say, it's only effective if you do weekly chunks of time, which is why I structure it that way. Unlike therapy, which is, that could go on for years, right? That is not how coaching is built. Coaching is meant to be a finite period of time where I teach you the tools. I give you homework after each session that you work on throughout the week. And then we shift and develop. And by the end of our time together, of course, we're going to stay in touch. We may check in with each other and have sessions here or there, but it is not meant to be a long-term investment.
Right. Yeah.
Does that help answer your question?
Sounds super helpful.
Okay.
And so for the people that are watching, listening, you said you had a freebie that you would like to offer the first 10 people that sign up and are interested, and tell us about that.
Yeah. So for the first 10 people that are interested, I would love to do a 30-minute discovery session. And this is where you will get a couple questions to answer beforehand, just 3. But this is where I help you kind of get inside of your head and figure out what the next steps are. Whatever that may be, it's different for every single person. But we spend the time kind of diving into the areas in your life that what I say is, need a little love, and helping you develop a plan for 2020 to move forward.
Okay, perfect. Well, when I post this, I'll put your website in the comments, but do you want to go ahead and tell them what that is so that if they want to reach out and try to be one of those first 10, what's your website? How can they contact you?
Yes, it's coachkorba.com. So it's www.coach, and Korba is KORB as in boy A.com. Right there on the homepage, you will see schedule a free consultation. When you do that, when you're asked for the first 3 questions, please just mention that you saw this Zoom live session so that I can keep track of the first 10. Okay. So I'm really, really excited to do that. I actually just put a bunch of time on my calendar for the next few weeks to be able to fit these in. So I'm so excited to see who in this group wants to up-level their experience in life. It's really, really exciting.
And I would love to hear about, hopefully whoever gets these sessions and it helps them in life, and hopefully they'll get back with me and get back with you and see how they grow and succeed.
Sounds wonderful. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Doreen. This has been fun. And I know it's going to be really helpful for those that listen.
I'm just blessed to be here. I just love what you do. So thank you for doing what you do. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.